I'm telling you, the only way to resolve this is either you give me your argument, right?
No, that's not the only way. That's not the only way to
How
resolve.
else? I'm open to ears. How else?
Yeah, so here's how we can resolve it, right? You can get out this VC, and because the reason why I'm saying that is because your opinion about how K runs his lives and the people who are in K's lives when he's running his lives means about the gum on the bottom of my shoe. It really doesn't matter to me. But I will say this though, Danny, I have a lot of respect for you in terms of philosophy of religion and the kinds of arguments that you purport against Christianity. I think that you're extremely intelligent. I'm not going to take that.
I'm talking about how to resolve this dispute. Do you care enough to resolve the dispute? I don't care about all of this. I care about resolving the dispute. There's two ways of doing that. Present your argument, or we review one of the videos.
Okay, so like I was saying, I do have respect for you in that sense.
I don't care about any of this.
But in terms of, yeah, you can decide not to care about the fact that I'm commending.
You're just changing the subject.
I'm not changing the subject. If you would stop interrupting, you understand how it's actually relevant.
I just want to know what the other way of resolving the dispute that you have in mind.
You can decide to not accept the fact that I'm actually respecting your intelligence. You can do that.
Oh my gosh. How else do we resolve the dispute? I presented two ways.
Everything else that you're saying as far as your opinions about how my lives are run, I really don't care about that.
Look, I don't care how you run your life. I'm making a claim that it's a bunch of language games.
That's what you've been talking about this whole time. It's about how my lives are run.
No, look, I'm not upset about how you run your life. I'm not upset about that.
Yes, you are.
Why do you think I'm upset about how you run your life?
That's what you've been doing this whole time. Okay.
No, I'm upset at you being obtuse in this conversation.
Wait, I'm being obtuse in this conversation?
Yes.
How am I being obtuse in this conversation?
Because I suggested, look, I see two avenues of resolving the dispute. Okay? I see we could either go through one of your arguments to support your conclusion, right? Or we can review one of your lives, and I can point out exactly where I have my problem. And you're not interested in either, but you're saying, yet it can be resolved. So I'm just waiting for the third solution to resolve our dispute. And if you don't care to resolve our dispute, then get fucking lost.
Wait, so was that supposed to be an explanation of how I'm being obtuse, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't really hear the explanation for how I'm being obtuse. But
you're told me
if you
said there's another way of this.
You just said a lot. Let me respond to what you said, right? So as far as, like I said previously, as far as you having this opinion that people who are in my lives engaging in normative discussions have meta-ethical presuppositions that they can't support and da-da-da, you can have that opinion. But quite frankly, like Mindia and everybody else set up here, meta-ethical commitments are actually irrelevant to the normative discussions.
Oh
now,
my gosh, you're just too stupid. You're fucking stupid.
Yeah,
you're just fucking stupid.
You're
just so fucking stupid. You don't understand.
Yeah.
The point is that when people utter normative claims, there are meta-ethical presuppositions to those claims that could render the whole conversation fucked.
Is this guy dumb, bro? Like, oh my god.
Nobody is
disagreeing. Nobody's disagreeing. I'm not even gonna engage in the meta. Whatever. You can say that. That's fine. Nobody's disagreeing that meta ethics is tied to normative ethics. Nobody here is disagreeing with that. The point is that people can engage in
what do you think our disagreement is then?
People can engage in normative discussion without having a specific meta-ethical position.
I'm not arguing against that. I'm not arguing against that. That's not our dispute. What do you think our dispute is?
When you say things like you think a lot of the language is confused, the motivation for that is because you disagree with their meta-ethical presuppositions. Do you not?
Okay, how about this? You don't get it.
Wait.
Do you think I'll answer your question and you answer mine. What was your question?
The reason why you think that the language that people are using in these lives is confused is because you disagree with their meta-ethical presuppositions, yes or no?
Because a large of the confusion can be attributed to the differences in meta-ethical views, yes.
Exactly, Danny.
Now my question for you, is the dispute an empirical dispute or philosophical dispute here?
What am I that we're having right now?
Yes.
This is a philosophical dispute.
You see, that's why you're not fucking keeping up. Okay? I'm not presenting a philosophical argument here. I'm making an empirical claim. The empirical claim that you don't know what you're talking about when you're uttering these claims about
what's the difference?
This is morally wrong. Excuse me. I'm making the empirical claim that you don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about more. I don't know why you're over talking me. You don't know what I don't know why. Let me know when you're done. Are you
claim and a philosophical claim? What's the difference between? How are you cashing out the difference between those two?
where I'm telling you what happened, what I think
No,
is
no, no.
happening.
Wait, don't run away from this.
I'm
What's the
answering.
difference between an empirical claim and a philosophical claim? Tell me.
I don't take the initial dispute to be one where we're disagreeing on the concepts. Okay,
Oh,
we're not.
now you're saying something different. Now you're saying
No.
concepts. You asked me earlier very explicitly, and then you try to get a gotcha by being like, "Oh, well, this is why you're not keeping up,"
What in the
because it
world are
actually
you?
wasn't a philosophical
We're
dispute.
not.
It was
That's
actually
not
an
the initial
empirical
dispute,
So, what's the
right?
distinction that you're making here between a philosophical claim and an empirical claim, Danny? Because for me, I take empirical claims to be philosophical in nature. Do you?
Oh no, dumbass.
What? You don't take empirical claims to be philosophical in nature?
No.
Is empiricism is empiricism a topic of study in philosophy?
Yes,
So, and it's not philosophical in nature.
it is.
You just said no. It's just got. This
Oh
has to be a
my
troll.
gosh, this has got to
Has
be
to
one
be a
of the
troll.
dumbest people in the server.
This has to be a troll.
Empiricism is the whatever thesis that is, right? That our knowledge is derivative of experience is
You
not
don't
an
need to explain
empirical.
what
Shut
empiricism
your
is.
mouth. Shut your mouth. I'm going to
You don't need to
explain.
explain what
This is
empiricism
free
is.
education for you because what you said was really stupid.
Why are you explaining
empiricism? Look,
Everybody here
empiricism.
knows what empiricism
Shut
is.
your mouth. Shut your mouth. It's very easy. If you want to listen, you can learn something. And
You don't need to explain
empiricism is a philosophical position, right? It's not empiricist. People that say I'm an empiricist are not trying to tell you any empirical fact about the world, right? Like this happened or there's this thing in the world. In fact, empiricism could be true where there are no agents. There is no universe.
What the fuck?
Okay?
Why are you talking? Look, how does this address what I said? What you tried to make a distinction between something being philosophical and something being empirical. I told you that I take empirical claims or empirical investigation, empirical analysis, whatever you want to call it. I take all those things to be philosophical in nature.
Yeah, that's
right?
No one uses it unless you're using an idiosyncratic definition of empirical. No one would say that.
You don't think that okay. So what is the object? What is the like? What is the purpose of empiricism? What does empiricism aim at?
The idea is it's where knowledge is supposed to come from, but that's nothing to do with
knowledge. Does knowledge deal with epistemology?
Yeah.
Is epistemology a field of study in philosophy?
Yeah.
Okay, so when somebody embarks on an empirical analysis, what are they doing there? And like, are they not like? Is that not philosophical in nature?
Not necessarily.
So what would it be?
In fact,
is it not philosophical?
Usually not. There's one branch of philosophy that likes doing stuff like that. They're called experimental philosophy, right? But mostly, no. Scientists, people that, conduct research in, let's say, in society, like in culture, anthropologists, a lot of psychologists engage in empirical inquiry. Most philosophers do not do that. In fact, that's a criticism of philosophy is that we're in the armchair too much. We don't do empirical work. The experimental people like Lance Bush thinks that philosophers should do more empirical work.
That's not the claim, Danny. The claim isn't whether or not philosophers do empirical work. The claim is whether or not empiricism is philosophical.
Empiricism is a philosophical position.
Fantastic. You don't disagree with me, right? That's what I've been saying this whole time. I don't know why you started going off.
You are so dumb.
Going off.
How are you so stupid? How?
You're the one that's.
Why were you dropped as a baby? How are you so stupid?
I'm not even gonna engage in the meta.
Stupid, right?
I'm not even gonna engage.
Stupid, okay.
Yeah.
The point. You're empiricism. Okay, fine. Then you want substance? Let me give you substance then. But you overtalk me anyway. Whether I go through the meta or whether I do substance, you still overtalk me.
This guy is so hurt that I put a background that says pro-choice is irrational. That's what it really is. That's why you're so emotional right now. Is because it hurts so emotional because
I didn't think I could come across such a stupid person.
Yeah, it hurts your feelings that somebody put a background up and said pro-choice is irrational.
Your stupidity hurts my feelings. That's true.
My stupidity coming from the one who just said that empiricism is not philosophical and then changed back and said, oh, actually empiricism is philosophical.
Wait, and I didn't say that. I said empirical. Empiricism and empirical are distinguished, dumbass. What do you think empirical means?
What the fuck? Obviously. Why are you pointing out that distinction?
So when I say that there's philosophical lines of inquiry and then there's more empirical lines of inquiry, I'm not talking about empiricism.
Oh my God.
You're so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute.
Ask any of the people that you respect
Danny,
to see if
Danny, do you think repeating your opinions about me is going to affect me somehow? Do you think
anything? Well, nothing can fix you. Nothing.
Oh, okay. Just to be
Right?
clear,
It doesn't
right?
matter whether I engage in the meta or
just to
not.
be
You're
clear,
so
just to be
fucking
clear,
stupid. It doesn't even matter.
just to be clear,
It
right?
doesn't matter.
I really don't take
God
just
can't convince you.
just to be clear, I don't take idiots like you very seriously on Discord who have opinions about
go ahead. I
something,
don't care.
who
Fine.
have
You don't take me
opinions
seriously.
about
Someone that
who
you take seriously.
I don't take idiots like you
Fine.
seriously
I
on
mean,
Discord
fine. Go ask
who
someone that
actually
you take.
hold on, sir, hold on, who are hurt and who have their feelings hurt because I put a specific background on my life. If you had a problem with my background, you could have said that from the onset. You could have came out and said, "Okay, I don't think pro-choice is irrational, or I think that the background that you put up is dishonest," or whatever the case may be. And then we could have had a conversation about that. Or if you had a problem with the responsibility objection, you could have talked to Bobo about that. You could have talked to somebody who holds to that position. You could have came from the onset and said all that. But after you did all those weeds and we weeded through all your BS, it turns out that you're not actually saying anything significant. All you're saying is that you disagree with the meta-ethical presuppositions that people make in normative discussions. Okay, who cares?
Okay,
What does that
so
mean?
a little fact about me of why your thesis is wrong. I think a lot of pro-choicers are fucking irrational. Okay, I think a lot of pro-choicers are fucking irrational. I don't think there's a fact of the matter as to whether a pro-choicer or pro-lifer is rational. I think it's very dependent on why they think what they think, right? So, no, I'm not offended. In fact, I agree with you. Most pro-choicers and 90% of pro-choicers are fucking stupid and irrational, okay?
Oh,
In fact,
great, we agree.
shut up, right? So your
No.
thesis that I'm just mad about your background. In fact, if anything, there are many cases where I empathize with the pro-lifer.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
okay,
Wow.
so you don't know why I'm frustrated. Actually, I'm gonna explain to you why I'm fucking frustrated. Right? Here's why I'm frustrated. I said that my initial claim was an empirical one. It's that what's going on in your life and when you talk, it's nonsense. Right? Now that might lead to
Oh, you're saying that what I said was nonsense? Because
most of
this
what
whole
you say
time,
on your live is nonsense.
okay, because this whole time, you've been saying that things that Bobo and Evelyn were saying was nonsense. But now you're saying that what I
An
said was nonsense.
example. I
But
didn't. I look.
it's funny because, you know, for a long period of time, I wasn't even speaking on my live. I was actually gone for about 20 minutes because I had to go do something. So what exactly is it that I say in my lives that you find
Pretty
to be
much
nonsensical?
anytime you try to present a normative theory or meta-ethical theory or anything like it, it's nonsense.
Give me an
Anytime you do
example.
that.
Give me an example.
We can look. I don't have an example off the top of my head, but I'm more than willing to go over your lives.
Oh, so your lives are nonsense and everything that you say is nonsense, but I can't tell you what it is.
Have I
Nice.
ever
Nice
said
one, Danny.
something? Have I ever said something false in my lives? Like,
Oh, by
or
the way,
have I ever committed a fallacy?
everything that you say is nonsense, but I can't tell you what you say though. That makes so much
Yeah.
sense,
Okay.
Danny.
Okay. Here's the fact. Every time you utter moral judgment or moral obligation,
Give me
I
an
roll my
example.
eyes.
Give me an example. Do you even know what my normative theory is?
It doesn't matter
How do you know it's nonsense, Danny?
because it's realist in nature. That's
Oh,
why.
okay. So your problem is about realism. It's not about the things that I'm saying. Go ahead and give me an example of something that I've said that's nonsense.
I already gave an example.
No, you didn't. You gave
Here's an
examples of things
example.
that
Do you
Bobo said.
think? Okay, when you have you ever said on your live that it's morally wrong to abort your baby?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nonsense. Very likely nonsense.
So the reason why you're saying that is simply because you disagree with the pro-life position. Yes or no?
No, it's nothing to do with the pro-life position. It has to do with how you're
What the
using more.
fuck? Is this guy dumb? When somebody says abortion is morally wrong, that is a pro-life position. So when
That's
you
not.
have a
I don't have
problem
a
with that,
problem with the problem. Isn't about pro-life or pro-choice.
okay. So if Mindia were to say abortion is morally wrong, would you say that's nonsense?
No.
Oh, so it's only with K. When K says it, it's nonsense. And the reason why you think that is because you know that K likes Thomism. You know that K is a realist. You know that K is a theist. You know that K is a
Exactly.
Christian.
Yep.
You have all
No, not
these
about the Christian
built-in
stuff. It's the
presuppositions.
realist
You have all this deep down hatred in your heart for whatever reason
hatred.
towards somebody that you've barely even spoken to. Danny, you and I have had nothing but maybe 5 conversations ever. And
Yeah,
you're
and
already
you're one of the
hold on,
dumbest people in
be
the
quiet.
server.
I'm still
You're one
talking.
of the dumbest
Be
people in
quiet,
the server.
be quiet.
I don't know
And
anyone dumber
also,
in the server than
be
you.
quiet, be quiet. And also, the reason, like your convictions against me are actually that it has nothing to do with me as a person. It has to do with your gripes with the positions that I align with. That's the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. Amdir could be a fantastic individual, even though every single position that he holds to, I disagree with. Amdir is a very smart guy. He's an atheist. He probably disagrees with a lot of my meta ethics, my metaphysics, and stuff like that. But I wouldn't go up to Danny and say anything that you say is nonsense because of the sorts of views that you align yourself with. That's so fucking dumb. Why would you judge people based on the positions that they hold to instead of the actual person that they are?
Okay, so look here. I get Amder would agree with me that when you make moral claims, it's either nonsense, trivial, or some kind of description.
That's literally irrelevant to my point.
Right. The point is that
who cares if Amder agrees with you?
I know what your metaethical background is. Right? I don't know Mendia's metaethical background. I don't know if he's a realist. If he is,
no. Don't try to do this now. This is okay. Mendia, tell us your metaethical background right now.
I didn't really listen, but because I was writing. Probably an anti-realist.
Okay, Mendia. So hold on. Stop. Mendia, go ahead and say to Danny that abortion is wrong.
Abortion is, well, I don't think it's wrong, but abortion is wrong.
Okay, now do you think that was nonsense, Danny?
I don't know exactly what he's saying because they're different types.
Now you don't know what he's saying. The only reason why you're
I would just say abortion would be morally unjustified under some evaluative standard.
Wow.
It could be, for example,
look at that.
I mean, that evaluative standard could just be, some brain state or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that's nonsense?
No.
Oh, okay. And the reason why you don't think it's nonsense is because Mendia is an anti-realist. You're also an anti-realist. And the reason why you don't think it's nonsense is because Mendia agrees with your worldviews and Kay doesn't. That's a silly thing to do, Danny. Just because somebody disagrees with your worldview. He's too dumb, Amder.
I don't even know.
Just because somebody disagrees with your worldview doesn't mean that you berate their character or berate them as a person.
Well, I don't think Danny thinks that, what you believe is nonsense because he disagrees with you on this topic, right? He disagrees with you on Christianity, and he doesn't think that's nonsense. What he thinks is nonsense is specifically the realist conception. So,
and let me be clear. Let me be very clear.
Because a real like Kay.
Wait, let me be very clear. Before one thing, Amder. One thing, Amder. I'll be really quick. Not all realist claims are nonsense. Some of them are trivial. Some of them are just descriptive or fall into some kind of naturalism. Go ahead, Amder.
No, I was just going to say it doesn't have to do with like whether or not you agree with someone or not. Kay could say something's wrong, and by wrong, he's using some moral naturalist realism or some subjectivist usage. He can use the terms that way and still be a realist, and you're going to understand what he means, even though he's a realist.
Yeah.
I don't Danny?
I didn't catch that. Can you say that again?
Because Kay said, like, the reason why you're saying this is just because Mendia agrees with your position and Kay doesn't agree with your position. Kay could use the terms the way that Mendia does and still be a moral realist, just dial in the language. And look, when I'm telling you X is wrong, all I'm trying to tell you is it's wrong the way you're using the terms. It's something that might go against your desires or go against my desires or reduce his well-being or something. And you would understand what Kay means, even though he's a realist. It doesn't depend on like the view of the person you're talking to. It's how they're using the terms.
Fantastic point.
Right. But how does that support you, Kay?
No, I'm saying that I don't disagree with the point that he was making. I never made a claim that it's in support or not in support of me.
The point is that when you, on your live, say that something's morally wrong, right? You're not assuming you're not tethering that to anything that I understand.
Okay, I don't give a fuck. Like, what? Why does that matter to me?
That explains why I think it's nonsense or likely nonsense.
Oh, great. Thanks for telling me your opinion.
Well, it's not like you can explain it here.
Explain what? My views on goodness?
What you mean when you say that abortion is morally wrong.
Oh, so this was really all just you wanted to have an abortion discussion.
No, I don't care. Let's just pretend that I don't have a problem. Let's just pretend that I don't have a problem with abortion. That I do have a problem with abortion, right? Let's say that I vote. I'm in support. I'm in favor. I desire strict federal bans on abortion, the kind that you have in mind. Now, if when you say on your lives to people that abortion is morally wrong, I think that you can't really break down that concept in terms of anything but that falls into a naturalism or type of anti-realism.
Thanks for your opinion.
No, but I'm challenging you right now.
Okay, so I was right. everything that you've been saying so far is just a whole loophole for you to be like, oh, I don't actually think that you can defend your abortion position. That's all you've been saying
it's
this whole
not
time.
about how are you stupid? Do you think this is about abortion? Do you really think it's about
That's
abortion?
what you said. When you
Do you
asked
think this is
me,
about abortion?
when you ask me questions about why I think abortion is morally impermissible, what do you think you're asking me there?
No, I'm asking what you mean by morally wrong. I'm not asking you. I don't care about what you think about abortion.
Oh, so this is a question about wrongness itself.
Yeah.
Why didn't you ask that from the onset?
That's always been my issue.
No, it's not. Your issue, look, you could have approached this in a very different way, right? You could have came out and said something like, look, okay, I don't know what you mean when you say something is wrong. Let's have a conversation about it. You could have said that. But instead, hold on.
We already did that. Okay, we already did that. We already did that.
No, we did not do that. What we've been
Everybody
doing
look at the
whole
chat. Look at the chat. This guy
We did
either
not-
has
what we've been doing-
this guy's
what we've
either
been
a liar,
doing-
he's either a liar or has goldfish memory. There's a
Okay, I'm talking about the VC that we've been having so far, right? So
our
we did not
conversation
do that.
extends to the
We did
very
not do
beginning
that.
of the chat.
We did not stop.
We did
bro.
do this.
We did not do. Be quiet. Be quiet.
And you
We did not
failed.
do that.
You
be
failed.
Quiet, be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. So during this whole VC, right? And even if you did say that, sure, I'll grant you that you said that. That's perfectly fine. That doesn't really negate the point that I'm about to make, anyways. Even if you did say that, the point is that when you approached the conversation, you started off by having problems with the way somebody else was cashing obligations on my life. And then you had a problem with the way Evelyn was talking about obligations. And then now you have a problem with how I'm talking about obligations, right? You could have came out from the onset and just said,
do that.
Okay, I don't know what you mean when you say something is wrong. And we could have had a conversation about that.
We did do this.
But
we did.
Because of the way you went about with the conversation, I'm not even motivated to have a conversation with you about what I mean when I say something is wrong, right?
Fucking lost.
Next
right?
time, when you want to
Get
do
fucking
that,
lost, you dumbass. Literally,
next time,
I don't know anyone dumber on the server. Let me scroll.
you want to do that,
Let me scroll.
what
Is there
you
anybody
should
dumber?
do
No, I don't know. I don't see
approach the
anyone.
conversation and say something
You're
like,
definitely dumber than
you
Steve
know what,
Cray.
Kay?
You're dumber than.
I don't know what you mean when you say abortion is wrong.
Rassel's
Or I don't know
here.
what
That's
you mean when you say
close.
wrong. And you can let me know, and I would have
At
let
this
you know.
point, you're below Rassel. You're
That's
one of
what
the
you should have
dumbest
done, right?
motherfuckers on the server.
But because you failed to do that, now I'm extremely unmotivated to even
I
have
don't
a conversation
care.
with you.
You can.
And the reason why
have
I'm
fun in your
unmotivated to
games,
have a
have
conversation
fun in your
with you
nonsense.
is
Go.
because I
Get
already
lost.
know that you are going to be bad faith as it is.
He's banned.
What?
He's banned. Wait.
No.
And I don't want anyone fucking letting him back in unless he explains his meta-ethical view.
No. All right.
Y'all got for what?
That's his ticket. No one lets him in until he explains to me publicly his meta-ethical view.
All right. I'll